From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you into this Tuesday's edition of For the People on an October the 24th, 2017. I just got off a Skype conversation overseas in Japan. And you might be thinking, why did you do that? Who were you talking to over in Japan? Well, my brother's been living over there for some time. My little brother, his name is Fred, and we had a great conversation. I mean, there's just nothing like having a family conversation with a loved one. And I love it on Skype because it makes you feel like you're just right there when you can't be. And just kind of reminiscing about, old times, the good times. And we had this thing when we were growing up, brother knows best. Big brother knew best, And as I was leading them astray, like a wolf, well, I would have them do things, gather things, get things for me, when I was building tree houses and all that, and scavenger hunts and, all that good stuff. But, yeah, I would lead them. They would follow. And it was so much fun being the big brother. It really was just awesome. But he's listening, so everybody say hello. Maybe he can hear all the way from Japan. But he's listening in right now. Hi, Fred. But love my brother. He teaches English, and he's a great English teacher, but loves the Japanese culture. I mean, who wouldn't love the Japanese culture? I mean, the ladies are, beautiful. And they're very conservative, largely speaking. And he would know. He lives over there, but very, very conservative. And the work ethic over there, I admire. I really admire the work ethic. And there are some people in the United States that work just as hard as the Japanese do, but there's a lot of lazy Americans. My goodness. One thing that most impresses me, though, seriously, if you've been to Japan, know anybody that's been to Japan, it's so clean. I mean, people don't throw gum. They don't throw trash. The subways are clean, and I grew up in New York City, and it's not the case there. I mean, it's okay, but, graffiti, you don't see that stuff over there. It's just clean. There's just a lot of pride, and the government doesn't put up with it. They just don't. They crack down pretty hard. But it was cool doing the Skype deal. So I encourage anybody, even if you're in the United States and you're 2 states over, or one's on the West Coast or East Coast, hook up the Skype on your phone or your tablet or your computer. It's easy. It's free. And you got to keep in touch, man, because the months go so quick. And the months turn into years, and before you know it, you're out of touch with your loved ones. But I thoroughly enjoyed catching up with him, my little brother, Fred, which, he's in his 40s. So, but he's going to always be my little brother. But I'm very proud of him because he loves what he does, and it shows. And his boss loves him. The kids, they adore him. And like I said, he enjoys the culture over there and likes teaching the people proper English. And that's a good thing. Don't critique me too harshly, please, Fred. This is radio. Our standards are not, they're not that high. But he tunes in occasionally, listens to the broadcast, and he likes tuning in. He was giving me some advice on social media. He says I should turn this into a video. And we've done some video on Facebook. We've done that from time to time. But, this is a face for radio. You just have to know your place on the radio. Rush Limbaugh tried that. There's some other talk show hosts doing it. I don't mind. They don't intimidate me, don't bother me or anything like that. It's just not at this moment. It's in the plans. Down the road, it probably would happen that way, where I would actually do more television and things like that. But we'll see. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, it's good promotion. It's good PR. People get video, and we're the video age. And we do have a video version of the show, but it's audio. So who knows? We'll just have to check with some video folks. And you can have your own switchers and everything where they automatically do it. So you just have these cameras set up, and they'll go switch A, B, back and forth, and so on. But I just wanted to share that moment. You want me to share some of the crazy things we used to do as kids? Well, before the internet, I'll give you one quick story before we jump into a serious story here in the Tampa Bay area. Route 206 in northern New Jersey. I lived in New Jersey and in New York. And 206 was like the main highway, 2-lane highway. And there wasn't a whole lot of traffic, but we went probably about 4 or 5 miles outside of Newton, New Jersey. This is up north, okay? And there was this tunnel, and there was railroad tracks above it, and you could access it, by climbing on the side. So we'd ride our bikes there, get on the top to check out the old train tracks. Now, there was no service to those trains. They were out of service probably since the 50s, but it was cool to go there to ride, okay? And we'd pack a lunch, some snacks, and we'd hang out. And I think I was a childhood smoker, so I may have been puffing a few cigarettes up there. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but a lot of people started smoking when they were kids. I thought it was cool. I quit when I was 18, started when I was about 7 or 8. Not proud of that. But that's what I did, and Big Brother knew best. And they didn't smoke. It's a good thing. Now, my brother does smoke now, and I wish he would quit. Actually, both of my brothers smoke. And I was the one that quit. But my dad was the big instigator of the whole thing. And unfortunately, we lost him way too soon. He died in 1995. Yeah, that's tough. Cardiovascular disease, but the hardening of the arteries. And the cigarettes are just no good. He started in the Air Force like a lot of military people do. But anyway, I was a good brother. But we had a lot of fun. No doubt about it. And it's nice to reminisce about that. And I had a good laugh, and he did too. But it's fun. And so you can only share that stuff with your brothers and sisters. And I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. And, good times and bad times. But, one thing that I love about family is that we're always there for each other. And even though that he might be a world away, we still communicate. We still talk and share. And he's coming over in January to hang out a little bit, which is great. I think his boss is actually coming with him. And, a little stateside action here in the U.S., so we'll show him a good time. They're thinking maybe a little Disneyland in Orlando, so that might be fun. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, back to Tampa, Florida, where we do the broadcast from this morning. Police are still scratching their heads trying to figure out, is this a serial killer? They say fears of a possible serial killer has Florida neighborhood on edge. And 3 people were shot, just to give you a little background here, killed in a pretty quiet neighborhood in Seminole Heights. The shootings all took place within a 1-mile radius. And this is a fact that has led police to believe that there's a link between the 3 killings. So all 3 victims, who apparently did not know each other, rode the bus and were alone when they were shot on the street. None of the victims were robbed, so it had nothing to do with stealing anything that they had of their person. Well, nearly 2 weeks has passed after the first shooting. Police are left still with no motives and no suspect, with so much uncertainty surrounding the killings. Some residents are literally locking themselves inside their homes. Business owners have reported a downturn in recent days, and that's very unfortunate. Police say don't do anything different. Come out, socialize, be together. There's strength in numbers. So the worst thing you want to do is be alone. Now, my stepdaughter, she lives in Seminole Heights area, real close to where all this stuff is going down. And it's kind of on edge because she has a toddler, okay? And so people are spooked, and rightly so. They had a sort of a quasi town hall, kind of get together with the community. They are in Seminole Heights just yesterday. And the chief of police said that he was probably certain, in his mind at least, that somebody there that was seated in the room knew the killer. Maybe did not know that the individual was doing what he was doing, out terrorizing, killing, but knew who this individual was. Maria Maldonado, who lives near the scene of the two shootings, refused to let her 7-year-old son play in the yard. She says, "We don't open the door. We don't do nothing. A lot of people are scared. I'm scared for my son, for the neighborhood," she said. I'm with the mother. I mean, you got young children. You can't take a chance with something like this. This is scary. Police have even had to escort children to class yesterday as parents pretty much weighed their fear against sending their children to school. Even the city bus, the bus service that goes into Seminole Heights, they've altered its usual route to avoid making a pattern. Our mayor, Bob Buckhorn, said that the city has put dozens of officers in the area around the clock. So there's enough police presence there. There's cameras all over the place, up and down the blocks. And the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, also helping. He says there aren't a lot of facts or evidence yet, but it's not for a lack of Tampa Police Department trying. He says we literally have put bodies out here by the dozens. That's kind of an interesting way of putting it. No pun intended, but we're going to find this guy, and we're not leaving this neighborhood till we do. This is our mayor. Resolved. Police said 22-year-old Benjamin Mitchell was the first person killed on October 9th. Sadly, 2 days later, 32-year-old Monica Hoffa was killed in a vacant lot. Then Anthony Nabio, 20, was shot and killed on October 19th. It's scary out there, folks. We don't know what the motive is. We don't know what the individual is. To me, you got such a presence there. I don't think the killer is going to be making any moves anytime soon. The Zodiac Killer, now he was on a killing spree. You know who that is. All right, what a psycho. But there was an intermission, where he went silent for quite some time, that he came out of hiding and started killing again. Or moved. Went to someplace else. So that's kind of the fear of Floridians, is that if he's driven out of that neighborhood, he goes out, where else is he going to decide to go pop some people off? So it's kind of unnerving. I just said the other day that, I get up at 5, I cycle, and I run, fast walk, whatever. And I'm like, wow, there's the bus stop here, but I'm in South Tampa, but shoot, it could happen anywhere. If he's under surveillance heavily like that, he's not going to just turn himself in. Oh, I'm the guy. Probably not. You're not going to be able to count that in as being a probability here. But I think the mayor's doing everything that he can. The police presence, the cameras. I mean, what else can you do? Unfortunately, there's. I remember the D.C. sniper And back in the early 2000s, 2001, I think it was, right before I left Alexandria, Virginia,